So coming over here to our parts corner, we have a bunch of bumpers. Through the process of trying to find another bumper for Khaki and find bumpers for Braven's car whenever we were painting it, we learned that it's really hard to find 90s Honda's bumpers nowadays. So our collection right now consists of a 4-door EG bumper. That's the rear EF bumper, the factory one that was actually on Khaki. 92, 93 rear bumper for a DA Integra. 92, 93 front bumper. Another EF rear bumper. DC Integra rear bumper. That is a 90, 91 DA Integra bumper. Pre-98, pre-facelift. I don't know the exact years, but that's the older DC Integra front bumper. EG Coupe front bumper. And then we have this one, which is a 98 Integra front bumper. We have quite a few bumpers back here, man. It's just one of those things that it's better to just leave it on the shelf than to either throw it away or put it up for sale. Because who knows, we might need it one day. But as far as this Integra bumper, the only thing I need off of it is this lip. Because this lip is completely freaking trashed. Grab all these randomly placed Phillips head screws out of it. Bang, bang. There we go. So yeah, both ends are broken off this thing. It's just a cheapy eBay lip anyhow, so. So my idea here is to use the Integra front lip on the EP3. I'm just kidding. Dude, isn't that crazy how well this thing actually fits though? Like I think you'd have to trim this a little bit and it would sit further in there. And it's actually a little bit longer than the bumper itself, but you could cut and, you know, like. Anyhow, for any of you guys that potentially have an EP3 and you're looking for a lip, the DC Integra front lip comes pretty close to fitting. But no, that is not what we are using this for. I'm not going to be putting this lip on there. What we're going to be using this for is to cut some sections out of it to fill in these freaking holes right here. So you guys are familiar with the EP3, man. The front and rear bumper have these ginormous ass lights. This car never had the lights. I don't have the lights for it. I don't even know if the wiring is there for it. These are actually reflective stickers, bro. If you look on the backside, yeah, there's no light in there. That's actually a reflective sticker, which is kind of creative, I'm not gonna lie. Whoever had the car before me that did this, I don't know if this was Dan or somebody he got the car from, but either way, I don't plan on replacing the reflective sticker. I also don't plan on hunting down those lights. What I plan on doing is just shaving it completely and getting rid of it. So So just like that, we just have to make plastic block offs. I marked out a pattern with a piece of tape, transferred it over to the plastic, cut it out, and then trimmed it, slowly trimmed it with my sander until it fit in there the best I could possibly get it. There are some little gaps here and there, but that's fine, dude. Now from here, we need to plastic weld it in from the backside, and then we'll do a little bit of body filler and some high build primer, sand it, get it smooth. But before we move on to the next step, I have 3 more that I have to cut out. So I'm gonna get those done before we start doing the welding. Alright, I got all 4 of these cut out and fit in, and of course this one fell out, the one I'm going to show you. Anyhow, I got them all fit in there. Boink. Now what I need to do is go through and just kind of prep the area. I want to sand inside of here and kind of get all the paint out of the inside. And then I also have 180 grit on here, and I'm gonna kind of go over the outside and the inside just to clean it up before we start welding on this. Probably take some of this primer down because I know I have the primer on here pretty thick. I'm also gonna go around and clean these things up some with the 180 grit, just kind of deburr it around the edge a little bit. So what I'm doing now is going through and I'm getting these pieces actually like stapled in there is what I like to call it. Now I got this off of Amazon. I know you guys have seen me use this before, but for some of you guys who maybe missed it, it's a plastic welding gun. So basically what this thing is this thing has like these little staples that you put into the end of it here. You put the staples into little prongs. Whenever you pull this trigger, that thing literally gets glowing hot. So you see how hot that thing gets? So that actually melts into it. So I'm using that to melt basically from one side to the other. Now it's melting from the bumper over to our little filler piece that we're making. So this, it holds it pretty well, but it's not that strong. Basically what I'm using that for is to hold it in position while I go through and melt it together, or basically weld it together. So this is what it looks like for the most part after it's done. So this right here is a actual like welding iron. So the tip of that gets really hot. It's basically the exact same thing as a soldering iron, just the tip is a lot larger. So then you go through and you kind of melt the plastic on the bumper with the plastic on our little filler piece, and you're melting them together and kind of mixing it in. Another thing is they have this little filler that came with it. It's like a little rubber or plastic filler. So as you do that, you kind of mix the two plastics together to weld them together. Then I go back with this stuff on top, and that's what you're seeing here. Now I still have to finish this. I'm going to come back with some side snips and cut the little edges of these staples off, and then I'll use my air grinder and just kind of clean it up a little bit so it doesn't look as bad. But that leaves you with this piece basically being one, bro. So now we can come back and sand this nice and smooth, put a little bit of body filler in it, hit it with some high build, sand it, and it'll be gone. It's kind of time consuming, takes a little bit of time, but I've got one of them done. I got the other two actually stapled in. I just have this one left. So I'm putting some tape on the outside so that I can actually tape this piece in and it'll hold it flush. Coming around to the inside of the bumper, I'll take our little block off piece and I'll just stick it in there to that tape. You can press it in and you can feel it, you know what I mean? You can feel where it's flush. So what I like to do is actually press it against there, and I could use that to push the two pieces flush with one another. And I have my hand on the backside, and then you pull the trigger and you can watch it as it melts in. And then what I like to do is, as it's cooling down, I kind of twist it a little bit so that it's actually twisting inside of the plastic, melting it in there, you know what I mean? Makes it stay in there a little bit better. And then bang, bang, there it is. Now I'll go through and put anywhere from 6 to 8 of these. Alright, see, now those are going to hold that in place where it can't move. Now I have the 3 remaining ones I still need to do, all set and ready. They're all stapled into place. Now just to get them all welded in. So now I'll go through and, like I said, use the iron now that I've let it get nice and hot. and you just melt both sides, and you just kind of do like a circular motion because you're like mixing the melted plastic together. You can see the crack in between them. You can see the crack disappear. Now with them all welded, I'll come back with some cutters and just knock these little tails off of all the staples. Grind them all down nice and smooth. Now I'll take my 180 grit, sand the front part. You can see as you're sanding which side is like high and low. You will have a little bit of high and low, but I like to sand it until I get it all the way flush, all the way around. Then we'll come back with body filler. Once again, busting out our high build, man. So that's the one step that we have left before paint, is we need to hit these things with some high build. So we cut our pieces, we got them welded in there. I hit them all with a swipe of Bondo, got it all sanded down smooth. I went ahead and I kind of scuffed up the rest of the bumpers as well. I'm not going to be primering the whole entire things with the high build. We're only going to be doing these ends, and then I found a couple little trouble areas on like in some other spots too that I'm gonna go ahead and hit. For the most part, it's done, bro. Well, the light delete is done. Now we just have to hit it with the high build. So then when this dries, we can come back and block sand it and it'll be completely gone. You'll never even be able to tell that they were there. Anyhow, I got the primer mixed up in my gun. We can't spray it in the booth because of course the EP3 is still sitting in here, but that's all right because I'm only spraying these ends right here, and this high build is so thick it doesn't really like go all out into the air like crazy, so I'm not too worried about it getting on my cars out here. Guys, I'm gonna go ahead and let this set up for another 15 minutes. I'm probably gonna do 2 more coats on here because I want to build up a really thick coat so we can come back later whenever we block sand it, get it all nice and smooth. They recommend that you wait about 15 minutes in between coats. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and finish that up. Then we're gonna have to let this stuff dry until tomorrow before we can sand on it. But that's all good, man. Hopefully tomorrow, I am wanting to get this thing wet sanded and get it clear coated, so then we can move it out, and then we even have somewhere to spray the damn bumpers at, you know what I mean? But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys are excited to see an EP3 without those big ass ugly freaking lights on the bumpers. And yeah, like I said, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. Peace out, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.